So this AMA for me is, I want to get across my thinking, where we are, because it's macro crypto and this is my sweet spot. Doesn't mean I'm going to be right, but I have a pretty strong opinion on it. And also just to get questions from people as well, to see how we can help, how I can help, what I can shed light on, any knowledge I can give, I'll do my best. And if I don't know, I'll always tell people I don't know. So that's how we'll tee it up, and we'll have some fun doing this. Macro backdrop, that's where we start. The macro backdrop, the thing that drives crypto that everybody has now learnt is the adoption cycle. So how many people are adopting? And we're seeing, for example, the number of wallets in Ethereum and stuff go up, but the overall activity of these networks are pretty stable. They came down from peak, they've remained stable, and that's why the price action's been sideways, trended lower in the summer as we had all of the CeFi shocks. But the main driver of all of this is liquidity. Liquidity drives all financial markets. Liquidity, for the definition here, would be the kind of ease of which money flows around the system. And I can use money supply growth, M2 growth globally. The exponential age stock, so the long end of technology, the ARK style investments, they priced an even deeper recession. So they got down to about 35 in the ISM, which was very, very low. So I think the market's discounted this already mainly, and that the low potentially is in, because what will be happening in 12 months' time? In 12 months' time, we will have seen a recession and we will likely be coming out of it. Whether we're fully out of it or not, doesn't matter. A recession at some point in the future means that the Federal Reserve will stop hiking and will stop shrinking the balance sheet. And they will probably go towards cutting. In the future, in 12 months' time, the probability of inflation being, at 8% is extremely low because of the year-on-year computational differences and the fact that oil, copper, freight rates, everything has come down massively. So I'm thinking that there is a probability that inflation goes negative within 18 months. So if we look out 12 months, the recession is behind us, rates are lower, and inflation is low. Okay, so that is a very good outcome for risk assets and crypto. Crypto bottomed in June. We had the retest. Bitcoin had a retest only 2 days ago, and I think it was the retest. So my DMARC indicators, which I use mainly for my technical analysis, gave me that signal. ETH had a much stronger signal in June, and I started finding as much money as I could under the sofa anywhere to start investing, adding to my positions. I never sold anything. So I'm thinking the markets are forward looking. So you've got people who are frustrated who wanted to invest but couldn't because of ESG and Bitcoin. The ETH merge, they're waiting for it to happen. ETH now has a yield. A lot of institutions don't own gold because it doesn't have a yield. So you've got this technology asset that represents a big, exciting future with a yield, with a limited supply. So that has and a macro that's changing. That to me suggests the next 12 months probably very, very good for digital assets. And I'm not saying that Solana becomes bigger than ETH or anything of that sort. I'm just saying, could it outperform in this cycle? So I think we're at the new cycle point. The logarithmic chart, we got to the 2 standard deviations oversold. Everybody knows the on-chain metrics. We've got the perfect setup. Is it today? Is the low in? I would give it an 80% probability, but there's a 20% chance it's not. So I'm very focused right now on watching the price structure. And the final thing to give you is the big one for me is ETH breaking about the 2000 level. That would give us an inverted head and shoulders low. And also there's a downtrend from the high, and it would have then broken a wedge pattern to the upside. And that would be the start of the run to new highs whenever that occurs. I have, since I first discovered Bitcoin in 2013, been of the opinion that this was a parallel financial system that's being built. In the last 18 months, I've realized that it's bigger than just a financial system. It's in fact the entire system of value, transfer, storage, and ownership in the new digital world. It is probably one of the biggest things I've ever heard of or seen. And it is an incredibly exciting moment in time to be part of it. And it's like learning about the discovery of oil when the Rockefellers and all of these guys started figuring out that the oil was going to make the world go round. Had you been an investor and a participant and understood what it could do and what businesses you could build across the network of oil or the mobile phone or the internet, the fortunes that were made, the changes that happened were so staggering. And this is happening faster. And at the very center of it is a system of money and value, which means that in itself, it is going to accrue value faster than anything else, because that's what it's actually doing. Is taking value from old places and putting it into a new place. So the opportunity set is so big, and it is that perfect nexus of macro and crypto, because the macro is so fucked, which we've known for so long. The massive debt, the bad demographics, the polarization of the world again, the deglobalization, the globalization, all the mess that caused. All of that is going on in macro land, which is pretty miserable. And here's the solution in front of our eyes. I mean, what a time to be alive. And that's why it's so important. Everybody needs to understand this stuff. Whether you're trading this stuff, building businesses, or you're just observing it, it is incredibly, incredibly important. Because, firstly, we're all learning together, as you made the point.
Definitely.
And none of us know the answers. So if we all learn together and we all learn at the same speed, that's just nice. It's nice to have a community. It's nice to have questions, people to ask. I don't know everything. Far from it. There's a load of things I'll be dead wrong on. Some things I'll miss entirely. It's not my job. My job is to set everybody in the right course and let's figure out. That's why I speak to people like Yatsui about what he's seeing, or I just got off the phone with John Wu from Avalanche, and I spoke to Anatoly from Solana, and I'm so privileged in getting to speak to people. And if I can share my learning as I'm chatting to these people saying, hey, what the fuck's going on in your ecosystem? How does this work? How are you seeing network adoption? How are you thinking about the future? What opportunities are you seeing? And everyone can watch over my shoulder. Then we all go together. And then the Ask Me Anythings are a way of us being able to chat about it.
Right.
That's the joy of this thing. And as you said with the railroad, with the oil stocks, and it was the same with the railroad stocks. These were really important networks that got built.
Yeah.
Tons of stuff failed. There was tons of excess speculation. The United States would not be the United States without the railroad network or the oil network or the phone networks. So this is how big these things are. And let's figure out where the main opportunities may lie, because this one, unlike those, the average person can participate in on a pretty much equal footing because you're part of the network by owning a token.